They say sharing is caring, but what if I told you that true power lies in not sharing everything? In a world where oversharing is the norm, a true Stoic knows that some secrets are better left unsaid. Today, we're diving deep into why keeping these 7 things to yourself will not only safeguard your peace of mind, but also make you untouchable. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll realize just how crucial it is to embrace silence in the loud chaos of modern life. Our society glorifies oversharing, whether it's on social media, at family gatherings, or casual conversations at coffee shops. We're constantly nudged to spill everything: our struggles, our ambitions, our rawest thoughts. But here's the twist. This relentless openness might actually be chipping away at your peace, your power, and your progress. Let me take you back to when I learned this the hard way. I used to believe that being an open book was the key to building real connections. I'd share my deepest fears with friends, my wildest dreams with colleagues, and my opinions with anyone who cared to listen. Sounds familiar, right? But here's what happened. Those fears, they were later used against me. My dreams, crushed by others' doubts, and my opinions, they stirred up conflicts I didn't need. That's when I realized something life-changing. Not everyone deserves to know their inner world. Stoicism, a philosophy built on self-mastery and resilience, teaches us this fundamental truth. Your inner self is like a fortress, and not everyone deserves to be invited in. Every time you share too much, you hand over the blueprint to your vulnerabilities. You give people the keys to your emotions, and in the wrong hands, those can be used to shape and control your reality. This video will uncover 7 things you should never share, no matter how much society pressures you to. Each point will challenge what you've been conditioned to believe, but if you value your serenity, strength, and mental fortitude, you'll soon understand why keeping these secrets is not just wise, it's essential for your growth. Stay with me as we explore these powerful strategies that will not only protect your inner peace, but also elevate you to a level where no one can touch your confidence or shake your resolve. Curious to know what these 7 things are? Let's dive in. Number 1, fear. Handle it like a hot potato. Don't let anyone else grab it. We all have fears, those unsettling dark thoughts that creep in when we're at our most vulnerable. But here's a truth that no one tells you. Your deepest fears are yours to conquer. They reflect your inner struggles, and they are not something to hand over to others. When you reveal your fears, you're essentially giving people a weapon that can be used against you. Even those with the best intentions may start to see you differently once they know what makes you tremble. They might treat you with pity or worse, subtly exploit those fears to gain an upper hand. Imagine, for instance, if you confide in someone that you fear failure. They could push you into making decisions you're not ready for, knowing you'd hesitate to take a risk. They might even chip away at your confidence, feeding that fear until it grows into something overwhelming. But here's the thing. Fear is an intensely personal battle. It's a challenge you need to face and overcome on your own terms. The moment you share it, you externalize it, seeking validation or comfort. While that's understandable, it's also dangerous. Seeking reassurance can make the fear seem bigger than it actually is, weakening your inner resolve. Think about it. If Marcus Aurelius had openly discussed his fear of death or failure, would he be the iconic philosopher-emperor we admire today? Probably not. His greatness came from his ability to confront his fears internally, using them as fuel for personal growth and self-mastery. He didn't allow those fears to define him or control him. In a world that encourages us to talk it out and share our burdens, a true Stoic takes the opposite path. Keep your fears close, like a fire that burns within you, strong, controlled, and private. Let them fuel your determination, but don't let them escape into the world where they can be used against you. Master your fears in silence and let the world see only your courage. Number 2, desires. Guard your desires, like they're your last slice of pizza. Desires are like the silent architects of our actions. They quietly guide us toward what we believe will bring us happiness or fulfillment. Yet the moment you share your most profound desires, you give away a piece of their power. You expose them to the unpredictability of the world and, even worse, the whims of others. I learned this lesson the hard way. A few years ago, I had a burning desire to start my own business, a dream that had been quietly growing within me for years. Eager and excited, I began sharing this ambition with friends and colleagues, hoping for encouragement. What I didn't expect was the wave of doubts that came crashing in instead. Some people questioned whether I could handle the risks, while others subtly hinted that my idea wasn't unique enough to succeed. Their skepticism planted seeds of doubt in my mind. What began as a clear and focused dream became clouded by uncertainty. Their well-meaning comments weighed on me more than I could have imagined. I found myself second-guessing every move, wondering if they were right. That pure, burning drive I once had became diluted by the fear of failure and the desire for their validation. The more I talked about my dream, the less it felt like my own. It became painfully clear. By sharing my desires, I had allowed others to influence and shape them. What should have been a personal journey was now tangled in their opinions and doubts. Desires are deeply personal, a reflection of your innermost needs and aspirations. When you reveal them, you open yourself up to judgment, skepticism, and even manipulation. I've seen it happen all too often. Someone shares their dreams, and suddenly they're no longer pursuing what they truly want, but chasing a version of success that pleases others. The truth is, when you share your desires with others, you risk losing the authenticity of your journey. Your path becomes clouded by external expectations, and soon you're no longer moving toward what you want, but what others think you should achieve. For me, the lesson was clear. Desires are like treasures. Guard them. Keep them as a quiet force that drives you forward, free from the noise of other people's opinions. By keeping your dreams private, you avoid becoming overly attached to the validation of others, and you protect yourself from the disappointment that comes when things don't go as planned. In a world that constantly encourages us to broadcast our goals and ambitions, I've learned to take a different route. Now, I let my actions speak for my desires. I keep them close, where they belong, untouched by others' skepticism. This approach has not only protected my dreams, but has also allowed me to pursue what truly matters to me, with clarity, authenticity, and unwavering focus. Number 3, keep your inner struggles private, like your Netflix password. Inner struggles are a universal part of being human. They're the quiet battles we fight in the solitude of our minds, doubts about our worth, fears of failure, and the relentless pressure to meet expectations. But while it might seem natural to share these struggles with others, doing so can often weaken the very strength you need to overcome them. I used to believe that opening up about my inner struggles was a sign of strength. I thought it would help me connect with others and get the support I needed. So I would vent to friends about the stress from work, my feelings of inadequacy, or the weight of expectations. In the moment, it felt like a relief. But soon I realized that sharing my struggles didn't bring me the peace I was looking for. Instead, it often left me feeling even more burdened, as if I had handed over my inner turmoil to others without actually resolving it myself. What I came to understand is this: my struggles were mine to navigate, not to be offloaded onto others. When I aired them out, I was unconsciously looking for validation or comfort, an external solution to an internal conflict. but that only diluted my ability to face the challenges head-on. Instead of confronting my issues directly, I became dependent on others' reassurances, which often left me feeling even more powerless. Inner struggles are deeply personal. While it might seem like sharing them would lighten the load, it often has the opposite effect. When you reveal your inner battles, you risk being seen through the lens of your struggles instead of your strengths. Even those with the best intentions may start viewing you as less capable or resilient. Worse yet, some might use that knowledge against you, leveraging it during moments of conflict or competition. Sharing your struggles can also trap you in a cycle of venting without action. It becomes easy to talk endlessly about your problems without actually working toward a solution. Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from within. It's about facing your challenges quietly, with dignity and resilience. By keeping your struggles to yourself, you preserve the mental toughness needed to confront them without the distraction of external opinions or sympathy. Take Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, as an example. He faced immense personal trials, exile, political intrigue, betrayal, yet he kept his inner battles private, focusing instead on strengthening his mind and spirit. His resilience wasn't born from sharing his struggles with the world, but from confronting them silently and emerging stronger because of it. Now, I've embraced a more stoic approach myself. Instead of venting or seeking validation, I channel my energy into understanding and overcoming my struggles on my own terms. This doesn't mean shutting others out. It simply means recognizing that some battles are meant to be fought within. By keeping my struggles private, I've found a greater sense of control and clarity, allowing me to grow stronger and more self-reliant. In a world where vulnerability is often equated with strength, it might sound controversial to suggest that some things are better kept within. But if you value your inner peace and personal growth, you'll discover that confronting your struggles in silence is not just empowering, it's essential. Number 4. Wealth. Keep it private like your secret cookie recipe. Wealth is a complex subject, a symbol of success in many cultures, yet a potential source of envy, conflict, and misunderstanding. The moment you begin to openly discuss your financial situation, whether you're thriving or struggling, you invite a host of problems that can disrupt your peace and relationships. There was a time when I believed that sharing details about my financial achievements was harmless. I would casually mention a raise, a profitable investment, or a new purchase, thinking it might inspire others or serve as a conversation starter. But I quickly learned that talking about money can lead to unintended consequences. Friends who once celebrated my successes began to react differently, some with subtle envy, others with condescending advice, and a few with outright resentment. What I thought was innocent sharing turned out to be a source of tension and discomfort. Open discussions about wealth create a breeding ground for envy and judgment, even among close friends. Knowing the specifics of someone's financial situation can stir feelings of inadequacy or competitiveness. It's human nature to compare ourselves to others, and wealth is one of the most tangible yet deeply personal metrics for measuring success. When you disclose your financial status, you inadvertently set the stage for others to feel either superior or inferior to you, neither of which fosters genuine connection or peace of mind. Moreover, wealth can attract unwanted attention and expectations. If people know you have money, they may start to view you as a resource, expecting you to cover dinners, lend money, or contribute more than your fair share to group activities. This can strain relationships and place you in awkward, uncomfortable situations. Conversely, if you're struggling financially and share that information, you might find yourself the subject of pity or unsolicited advice, which can be just as demoralizing. Wealth is also a volatile topic because it taps into deeper issues of security and identity. In Stoic philosophy, material wealth is seen as indifferent, neither inherently good nor bad, but only valuable based on how we choose to use it. The more you discuss your wealth, the more likely you are to tie your self-worth to it. If you take pride in your financial achievements, sharing them might subtly reinforce the notion that your value is linked to your bank balance. On the other hand, if you're facing financial difficulties, discussing it openly can intensify feelings of inadequacy and stress. Consider Marcus Aurelius, one of the wealthiest and most powerful men of his time, who famously wrote about the impermanence of material possessions. Despite his immense wealth, he emphasized the importance of inner virtues over external riches. His Stoic wisdom teaches us that while wealth and health are useful, they should never define us or become the focus of our conversations and relationships. From personal experience, I've learned to keep my financial situation private, understanding that wealth is a tool, not a topic. By not discussing it openly, I've maintained healthier relationships and avoided the pitfalls of envy, judgment, and exploitation. This approach has allowed me to focus on what truly matters, developing my character, cultivating meaningful connections, and finding fulfillment beyond material success. In a society that often equates wealth with worth, choosing not to share your financial status may seem countercultural, even controversial. But if you value your peace and the authenticity of your relationships, you'll find that keeping your wealth private is not only wise, it's liberating. Let your financial achievements or struggles remain your own, and measure your true wealth by the quality of your thoughts, actions, and relationships, not the balance of your bank account. Number 5. Past failures. The greatest hits you didn't want to play again. We all have failures, those moments when life didn't unfold as we hoped, when we fell short of our own or others' expectations. Society often tells us that sharing our failures is empowering, a way to show vulnerability and build connections. But from a Stoic perspective, your past failures are best kept private, where they can serve as personal lessons rather than public spectacles. I used to believe in the value of sharing my past failures, thinking it would make me relatable or even admirable. I would recount the job I didn't get, the project that flopped, or the relationship that ended badly, hoping to inspire others by demonstrating how I had bounced back. However, I quickly realized that not everyone responded with empathy or encouragement. Some people, instead of recognizing my resilience, would focus on the failure itself, subtly undermining my credibility or trying to outshine me by comparison. Moreover, discussing past failures can trap you in the past, making it difficult to move forward. Every time you retell the story of a failure, you're reliving it, reinforcing its presence in your mind. This can hinder your ability to fully let go and embrace the lessons learned. Stoicism teaches us to accept the past as unchangeable and to concentrate on what we can control, our present actions and future intentions. By constantly revisiting your failures, you risk being seen as the person who fell short rather than the strong, resilient individual you've become. Consider the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. He endured slavery and hardship, yet rarely spoke of his suffering. Instead of dwelling on his past misfortunes, he focused on the wisdom he gained from those experiences and how they shaped his present and future. He understood that his value wasn't tied to what he had endured, but to how he chose to respond to it. His silence on past failures wasn't about hiding them. It was about refusing to let them define him. Keeping your past failures private might seem counterintuitive, even controversial. But if you value your growth and wish to be defined by your current actions and future potential rather than your past mistakes, you'll discover that silence can be incredibly powerful. Let your past failures remain your own, transforming them into personal wisdom that guides you forward without the need for public validation or sympathy. Number 6. Politics and friends. Why I'm not risking my social life for a debate. Political beliefs are deeply personal, shaped by our upbringing and experiences. I used to share my views on social media, hoping to spark conversations and convince others of my perspective. However, I quickly discovered that these discussions often spiraled into arguments, damaging relationships and creating tension instead of fostering understanding. Friends who once saw me as a kindred spirit began to distance themselves, while acquaintances I barely knew felt entitled to challenge my beliefs, sometimes aggressively. The issue with sharing your political beliefs is that it often invites conflict rather than resolution. Discussing politics can lead to a loss of personal peace. Engaging in political debates, especially in today's hyperpolarized climate, can be emotionally draining and mentally exhausting. The constant back and forth, the need to defend your position, and the inevitable encounters with hostility can take a toll on your well-being. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and emotions. By keeping your political beliefs private, you protect yourself from the turmoil that often strains relationships and can even lead to discrimination or backlash in environments where your views are in the minority. Even in personal relationships, political differences can create tension. I've witnessed friendships and even family ties become strained or broken over political disagreements. People who once got along well find themselves at odds, unable to reconcile their differing views. By keeping your political beliefs private, you can avoid these conflicts, allowing your relationships to be defined by virtue and inner peace rather than the political battles raging around you. Consider the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. He understood that true influence comes not from public declarations, but from the quiet strength of living according to one's principles. Through my own experiences, I've learned the value of keeping my political beliefs private. Instead of engaging in divisive debates, I focus on living by my values and making a positive impact in ways that transcend politics. This doesn't mean I'm indifferent or disengaged. It means I choose to use my beliefs as a private compass, guiding me through the complexities of life, rather than a public banner inviting conflict and judgment. Number 7. Your future plans. Future plans are like blueprints of our aspirations, our hopes, dreams, and goals laid out for the path ahead. It's tempting to share these plans with others, whether to seek encouragement, advice, or simply to express excitement. However, revealing your future plans can often be more detrimental than beneficial. From a Stoic perspective, keeping your future intentions private can be a source of strength. When I shared my aspirations in the past, I often felt the pressure of others' expectations. If I changed my mind or faced setbacks, the disappointment or questioning from those I confided in only added unnecessary weight to the challenges I was already grappling with. Once you share your goals, an environment of external pressure emerges. You may feel compelled to achieve them, not just for your own satisfaction, but to meet the expectations you've set in others' minds. This can create a sense of obligation, shifting your focus from your true desires to what others believe you should accomplish. By keeping your plans private, you gain the freedom to change direction without the burden of explaining yourself to others. If a plan doesn't work out, you can adapt and move on without added pressure. In a culture that often champions transparency and openness, choosing to keep your future plans to yourself might seem counterintuitive, perhaps even controversial. Yet, if you value your autonomy, focus, and peace of mind, you'll discover immense strength in silence. Let your actions speak for themselves, allowing your intentions to unfold naturally. By maintaining control over your narrative and staying true to your inner compass, you reclaim your power. This approach helps you avoid the distractions and pressures that come with public exposure. Embrace the power of silence, allowing it to guide you as you navigate life on your own terms. When you keep your future plans close to your heart, you live authentically, free from the influence of others' judgments or expectations. Number 8. Personal boundaries. Because even superheroes need a day off. Personal boundaries are the silent guardians of your emotional and mental well-being. They define what you're comfortable with and what you aren't, serving as vital lines that protect your inner peace. However, revealing your personal boundaries can often lead to misunderstandings and, worse, exploitation. In a world that glorifies transparency, it's tempting to share your boundaries with others. You might think that by being open about your limits, whether in relationships, work, or personal time, you're fostering understanding and respect. But here's the truth. Sharing your boundaries can sometimes invite others to test or disregard them. I learned this lesson when I felt compelled to explain my boundaries to friends, hoping it would encourage mutual respect. Instead, I found that those boundaries often became a topic of discussion rather than a point of respect. What I thought would enhance my relationships instead led to tension and frustration. When you lay your boundaries out for everyone to see, you risk losing their power. Others may feel entitled to challenge those limits, which can create a cycle of discomfort and resentment. Boundaries are meant to protect you, not to be negotiated or debated. By keeping your boundaries private, you maintain control over your emotional space, ensuring that they are respected without question. This doesn't mean you should become closed off or unapproachable. Rather, it empowers you to engage with others on your terms. Remember, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your limits. Protect your inner world by letting your actions speak louder than your words. This quiet strength allows you to navigate relationships with clarity, free from the pressure of external opinions. In a society that often misinterprets vulnerability as weakness, embracing the strength of your personal boundaries can be incredibly liberating. Guard your inner peace and let your actions define the respect you deserve without the need to overshare what you will or won't accept.